B-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. We are coming to you from West Virginia.
Mountain
and
Mama.
all of the southeastern states, it seems like, before we get home. And, of course, we will have that discussion right after these messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis is brought to you by the Always Endure Slawburger Chase 5K and 10K on Saturday, April 15, starting at the Bank of Lincoln County in Fayetteville, Tennessee at 8 a.m. By registering, you are supporting the mission of Always Endure to remove financial barriers for adoptive families, barriers to care for patients enduring major medical diagnosis, and barriers to placement for children in foster care. You can register at alwaysendure.com by clicking on the Events tab at the top of the page. I'm Travis Creasy, that's All Pro Counselor Ben Hayes.
What's happening? And we are right here in a motorhome. Would that be what it is? A camper. A camper, I think, is what it's officially, but it is very nice, and that's why it looks a little different.
Man, there are so many people out there who are nice to us.
Yes,
and especially me, who just tags along for the party. But we're coming to you on Saturday night, March 11th.
That's correct.
In Parkersburg, West Virginia, and it has been a weekend that started. A weekend to remember started at 2 p.m. ish for me.
Your day.
And Ben's started. When did you guys
leave?
I
left about 11 o'clock to head up there to pick you up in the old city of Fayetteville, Tennessee, and then we headed south.
To get to West Virginia.
That's a little bit of a roundabout direction.
We were signed up. You were signed up to come to West Virginia many years ago. Mm-hmm. COVID hit, and then you had to reschedule.
We were literally. I was about to get on a plane like 2 or 3 days to fly up here, and COVID was making its way across the country, trying to get to us. And my elders were like, I don't think you need to get on that plane. So I had to call up here, cancel it, and they were understanding it. They were, hoping I could still come, but then I think after I canceled, they realized, oh wait, it's moving a little faster too, because at the time they barely had any COVID cases, but turned into a big ordeal. I mean, we all know, right?
And so last year we came with Skits with the Truth.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make sure you were still on the schedule, and somehow I got in the mix.
Yep.
And
as
that works. And then we were going to drive from Fayetteville, and your brother, Kirk Hayes, retired from the Air Force.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I said this in the ceremony. I got to say a few words at the ceremony. I mean, in front of 150, 200 people that were there for the ceremony, because he was retiring Chief Master Sergeant, which is the highest enlisted that you can be. And so I said in front of them, I don't really remember much of his life without the Air Force. I mean, I was probably, I'm guessing now, 12 or 13, I think, when he got into the Air Force. So I can remember some stuff as we were kids, but really the majority of my life, he's been in the Air Force. And so he was like retiring, said, hey, all of a sudden this was the weekend that it was going to be. It wasn't, I don't think he had any control over that, but they said, here's your day that you're celebrating your retirement. And I was like, uh-oh, we're double booked. So couldn't miss it. I mean, it was just one of those things I couldn't miss. So we worked it out and we drove south. That's why we went to Warner Robins, Georgia.
Yeah. So cruised through the ATL. Ben had pretty smooth sailing, and then I took over driving, and we started looking for Noah.
Yeah, pour down, baby.
The rain came.
It was perfect timing. I mean, I had great driving.
And the wind blew, and
they beat up on the car. And
thankfully, it was not a great fall. So we made it. But we made it. Didn't have to bust the scuba gear out. Destin was in tow at that point. We made it to the retirement ceremony, and man, what a great job the Air Force does. I mean, it was great. Top notch. A lot of people there. A lot of people that Kirk had impacted for good, and help
People
them
who
along.
drove from San
Yes.
Antonio much further than we did, Wyoming, Illinois. Our family got to go down. Everybody but Dad was able to go. Of course, Dad's in a home right now, so he wasn't able to be with us. And I know that was hard for Kirk and for Mom, but it was just a really great day. I mean, it was inside the Airspace Museum in Warner Robins, and so there were what all were we surrounded by? I mean, like huge helicopters, the several jets. I mean, we couldn't name what those
Yeah, it was
were
like
exactly,
a Georgia
so.
Aviation Hall of Fame, basically, stuff going on. But it was a great day, man. It was really impressive. Congratulations, Kirk. Didn't know you were so awesome. I mean, I had a pretty good idea.
Nor did
Look
I
at
know
his
it.
little brother,
Nor did
but-
I know he was that humble, because I
Yes.
mean, like, he's never shared most of those things
Yeah,
with us. So
yeah, no
we
idea.
were like, wow, these are a lot of stuff. So he had letter. I mean, of course, you're retired 27 years. You're gonna have a letter from the president. You're gonna have a letter from, the head of the Air Force, and the Secretary of State. And I think he had like 5 or 6 letters
that's
from
awesome.
different people, and that's notable in and of itself. But that was pretty awesome.
So it was in the light of his 27 years of commitment that we then got in the car and showed our commitment by driving
10
more
hours.
10 more hours.
Technically 10 more driving hours. It took us about 12 hours, I think, to get here.
Up through
11 hours.
South Carolina.
Well, Georgia first, the
We're in
rest of Georgia, then
South Carolina. We stopped by to see where the Gamecocks play. And,
that's right.
Where the miracle happened this year in college football, but we better move on. And then we get back and we head north, and we kind of skim by Charlotte, and it's crazy how the weather changes and it gets cooler as you go north. That's obvious, but it's, when you experience it.
You drove through Georgia and South Carolina, something like that, or maybe I picked up before we got out of Georgia, but. Anyway, at some point I picked up, started driving. I think it was in where South Carolina University is at. I think that's when we swapped around. So I started driving. So it got us through South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe somewhere in there, and then I decided to swap. We
somebody's got to put these slideshows together for for the weekend.
Putting together some PowerPoints. So swap it back over, and just like the night before. It started raining and snowing
and wind, and you're up on in the mountains. So appreciate
every
that,
now
Ben.
and then I feel a little.
So if you're wondering who's living right, Ben is living right. Something I don't know what's going. Of course,
Travis got the worst of the worst of it. So.
And we rolled into CJ Vaughn's house. He's going to be on an episode of the podcast, and now we're in his palace, his mobile palace.
But we're in here after now we've done a full day at their youth rally. So the Recharge youth rally, and we were here about 1:00 in the morning last night. That's when we pulled in, and then today we have already done. Let's see, you did 2 keynotes and a Bible class. I did a keynote and a Bible class, and then I did a couple of games.
Both Bible classes twice.
That's right. Both Bible classes twice.
Both went twice.
I did a couple of games you helped out with on those. And then you
helping, healing, humor, mental health workshop.
That's right. So first, technically we've
had some practice runs.
Yeah, Maud Youth Rally, the Yak and Yeti that we did was kind of a prequel to this, and we've done some others where we've done some of these lessons, but trying to kind of put together some things that we can do at different places, just to sort of help encourage it. I talked some about the mental health parts of it. Travis is talking a lot about, really same thing, mental health stuff, but from the book of Mark, some really great information from the Gospel of Mark on things that Jesus went through, things that his disciples went through, things Jesus was trying to teach his disciples about what they're going to go through. And so we can recharging the mind, recharging our devotion, our attitude, and we've got just different things like that we've kind of thrown into that lesson. I think we're going to probably do that in Alaska in a couple months.
Oh, yeah. Anchorage, Alaska.
So,
a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
Which means...
we we don't do anything small.
I would like to
right?
just sit here and go, Dale Jenkins, the Jenkins guys, like, dude.
They're on the go all
I'm
the
sitting
time.
here right now and I'm roasted, man. I'm so tired. Good tired. Thankful tired.
Good tired.
And I mean, we get to do this stuff for the Lord and we get to have a blast doing it. I mean, it's just awesome to meet folks here in Parkersburg. Of course, we've got Scott Johnson, who made our sign at CYC, and Jeff Taverner, who's always
here,
tagging in, and they were here, and it was good to see them. And man, it's true that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I'm really ready to go to sleep, to be honest with you. But I'm also really excited and energized to go ahead and collect all the rest of the Southeast tomorrow.
Yeah. So we're gonna preach. Travis is gonna preach. I'm gonna teach the Bible class, and then we're gonna hit the road again. On the road again.
Yes.
And we'll end up. I think if the map quest has helped me, or Google Maps or whatever it is we use, iPhone Maps. I don't know. I think we're gonna go through Ohio, and then Kentucky, and then back to Tennessee, and then back to Alabama. So I think we're gonna end up touching 9 states before it's all over with, and it will be awesome.
Yes.
Lord willing, that's how that's going to work out, and we really have been blessed. It's been a good weekend. It was fun last night or today. Tonight, after we got through with the youth rally, we were able to hang out in the Vaughn's house here with a lot of the people from the church. I got to record a podcast with their little crew that they do some videos and things, and so it was really awesome.
Yeah, it's just a blessing to get out among God's people, and we go. We want to encourage people, and we certainly hope that's the case through this podcast, all the things that we do. But man, at the end of the day, we're the ones that walk away going, "Man, what awesome people! What great brothers and sisters in Christ we have!" And we just want to be of assistance and to let them know that we're rooting for them, they're rooting for us, and man, it's just great. It really is great. And of course, this is fun, right?
It
I
is.
get to hang out.
Fun.
I'm always blessed to think about. We've always been friends. We've always been close. But there's life gets in the way of things, and so it's things like this where you get to hang out. And it's Ben and Travis, and we're just, I won't say normal people, because that may be a bridge too far. But what is normal?
We're normally abnormal people.
There you go. And we need encouragement just like anybody else. And so anything we're trying to give, we always receive much more than we ever give to anybody else. So it's been great. Like I said, Lord willing, we'll go back home tomorrow.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things, obviously I love being with the churches and encouraging them, but like you said, encouraging each other, and then just being able to talk, being able to cut up, being able to laugh a little bit sometimes is just good for my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we do the Helping Healing Humor podcast and not just the Helping and Healing podcast. We got to throw the humor in.
This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is brought to you by Heritage Christian University. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. We aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. HCU produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University offers the following degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and a Master of Divinity. HCU is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt. For more information about Heritage Christian University, visit www.hcu.edu.
We were very eclectic in our song selections yesterday. So if I was driving, Travis was picking songs for the most part. When he was driving, I was picking songs. And so
is this question of the day?
Yeah,
is this what we're gonna roll? All right, go ahead, fire away.
So I don't know if it was a question so much, but the Heritage Christian question of the day is, what was your favorite moment maybe on the whole road trip? And I'll let you think for a moment about it. Mine was just the randomness of the songs. We're very eclectic. I mean, there was rap, there was Christian, there was country, there was old country, there was Weird Al Yankovic, which he's in a whole other thing of his own. And probably a really bad time because it was right when we were getting here and on the back roads, and it made Travis miss 2 turns. We're at that age where you have to turn down the radio so that you can see where you're going. I don't know how that has anything to do with it, but
Focus.
Travis was really struggling.
Trying to get on the right turn. Focus.
Yeah, so that's probably mine. Was we were, singing to and laughing about and cutting up about the songs that we were listening to. So I think as far as just what was good for me was the good laughs that we had on the road trip through that. So
yeah, I mean that's all good. I would say 2 things. I think, hey, you want to go see where South Carolina plays football? Sure. It's only 20 minutes out of the way. And what's that on 12 hours?
And
right?
we're gonna get there at 1:00 in the morning already, so we might as well.
So and probably singing our version of Country Roads and sending it to Jeff Taberner as we crossed the state line, because I'm sure he enjoyed that at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
He probably did, yeah.
But those would be mine, and of course there's tons. It was really cool. It was really cool to see Kirk's retirement. And I know you meant while on the road. Yeah. But man, that was just really neat. That was a perk that I got for inviting myself on this trip.
You didn't really invite yourself on the trip,
but it was great.
No,
so.
It was that was huge. Just to be able to be a part of that was a big day, and I'm glad that worked out, that we were able to both do that and be up here. See some shout out to our videos in CJ and Kevin's videos that they do. They had some lift up thine eyelid. I don't know, at some point we may be tagging on or tagging their videos on some of these podcasts that we do, just so you guys can check those out. But yeah, I think, all that stuff combined, it just made for a really great weekend. I hope the rest of the weekend goes smoothly. And I feel like it will, and I hope it does. Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com, and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.